first couple of questions I've got for you are to do with you as a player. Your mum and dad are both classically trained, and you've actually picked up a few different instruments before you decided to play guitar. So what was your parents' reaction when you actually wanted to play rock as opposed to classical?
I mean, I think they were surprised at first, but as the years went by and I kind of made something of it, I think they accepted it a bit more.
Yeah. When you were younger, obviously you were gigging from, I think you said you were 15 in an interview when you actually started gigging. And now you're all over the stage. It's kind of like stage gymnastics, which is really cool because it's really fun to watch. But when you started out gigging, you mentioned in an interview that you were very like, nervous and you didn't really move around. So how was it for them first few gigs when you were basically getting used to it?
Yeah, I mean, I still have the nerves and the anxiety every time I play. That's still the same. But in terms of eventually just being able to move, that just comes with time, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't move my feet. My first gig, they were just like, and I couldn't move them at all. They were just stuck to the stage. Yeah.
So even after like, because I mean, you guys and Whitesnake, and even Cher, you guys pack stadiums. So do you still get nervous for that, or have you done it so many times that it's just kind of normal now?
No, I'm nervous like every gig I have. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I didn't expect that actually. I thought you'd be like, nah, don't get nervous.
I don't know. Yeah, it's part of it for me. I mean, I wish I wasn't, but I am.
Yeah. Is it playing in front of people, or is it more of the amount of people that you are playing in front of that makes you nervous?
I think it's just playing for people. Yeah. I don't know. I guess who knows? If I, I can't really self-diagnose, I guess, to tell you why I have anxiety, but I just do.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in the minority either. I think a lot of people,
Oh.
most people still have a little stage fright or butterflies. That's just, I think it's human nature.
Does it go away when you go on stage, or does it take a few songs to disappear?
It definitely gets a little bit easier, or like a couple songs in for some reason, and is almost gone by the end of a show. I feel like, like as you're playing the last couple songs, it almost feels like, oh, everything's cool. So yeah, but yeah, definitely leading up to a show, right before the first song is always the worst for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. When you picked up guitar, you mentioned that you had a couple of lessons and they weren't really what you expected. So can you talk us through what your first guitar lessons were actually like?
Yeah, I had a teacher that started me just sight reading and out of the Alfred's method book, if you know that method book. It's a little bit like the Melday method book where they teach you the E, F, and G on the high E and then the B, C, and D on the B. And you're just practicing sight reading, which is very similar to what I was doing with cello when I was 3 and piano when I was 7. And I was going, this isn't what I expected. Like I started because I saw Angus Young and I thought he was so cool and I needed to figure that out. So thankfully, I had a friend who knew how to play rock songs, and he showed me a power chord. And I said, "Where did you learn all this?" And he told me about his teacher. And I had eventually switched over to him as my teacher, and he taught me nothing but songs for about the first year I played. And I think it was a great way to get started. It makes you so inspired to actually like realize that music can be fun and play music that you enjoy. A lot of parents like to make it like a tool of discipline and to torture their kid. And then, it was just really cool to figure out like, oh, music is cool.
Yeah. So what was your first guitar then? Because you play a lot of Les Pauls now. So
Oh,
what
back
was your
then?
first guitar?
Oh man, I had this I had an Electro Westone that was, I think in my mind when I saw it in the mall, it looked like Angus's SG. But it was in reality like a cherry red, like hideous shaped thing. And I swapped that out after about a year or two for a Kramer Beretta. And after the Kramer Beretta, I had an early, slightly modified Phil Collin model Jackson that my friend Brett Garcid, who was playing in Nelson at the time, sold me. So that was, but I started out totally on all the Floyd Rose kind of guitars and doing all the whammy bar stuff. And just like everybody in the 80s. You know, it took me a while to end up on a Les Paul. And then when I did, I went, oh man, what took me so long? I fell in
Yeah.
love immediately, really quick.
Uh-huh. So do you still have your first guitar, or did you sell it on?
We sold my first guitar to buy my second one. And then oddly enough, I eventually ended up teaching in the area that my mom sold it in for a while. And some kid came in one day and had a guitar that it was the exact model and it had a ton of fret wear on it. And I
Hmm.
went, I bet that's my first guitar, but there was no way to prove it. I didn't have the
Yeah.
serial number or anything, so I wasn't gonna buy it off him just because maybe it was my first guitar. I really kind of like needed to prove it. But he had bought it from a store nearby, so it may have been that the person who bought it off my mom sold it to the store and or put it on consignment there or something, you know. Who
Hmm.
knows?
Oh, that would have been really cool. That would have kind of been going full circle, I guess.
Yeah, I still have the Kramer Beretta though, which is cool too, because I spent a lot of time on that when I was about, I guess, 14, 15 years old, and that was the guitar that I first played gigs with and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have that still.